everyone, so today we are going to be learning Unit 7 and this is sort of a carry on from last week's lessons. So we are still going to be learning present simple, but we are going to learn how to ask questions. So I hope you remember last week's lessons. So let's carry on with this week. So over here, when you're asking questions in present simple, you use do or does. So I hope you remember when you use do and when you use does. Just to refresh, do, you use it for I, you, we, they. Does, you use it for he, she, it. Alright? So let's recall the positive terms. So over here we have I work, we like, you do, they have. He works, she likes, it does, it has. Okay, this is how you say present simple in a positive way. And then to ask questions, how you form the sentence is do becomes number one. And then I, you, we, they, he, she, it becomes number two. And then the verb, which is the action word, becomes number three. Okay, so do we work? Do you like? Something like that. Or does she have? Does she has? You know? So this is how you form questions. So do or does becomes the first number one, and then number two, he, she, it. Number three is the verb. So for example, over here you will say, do you play the guitar? Okay, so do first, you second, plays the verb third. Okay, so let's remember the word order. So we have the question words here. Okay, question words like where, how often, what, how much. These are question words. And then you have your do or does. And then the subject, which is you, he, she, your friends, your parents, your country. These are the subject. And then infinitive, which is also the verb. So play, live, work, rain, things that happens. And then the other things that you want to talk about. So, for example, let's just use the first words over here. So, where do you play the guitar? Or you could ask, how often do you play the guitar? Okay, guitar, belau. How often or belau often kita play le. Another thing you can ask is, how often does it rain on Sundays? Difficult question, but you get what I'm trying to say. So it has to be in this order. You cannot skip or change things around. If you want to form a proper sentence, then it has to go in this order for it to be grammatically correct. Alright, and then for questions that has always and usually, so always means အမြဲတမ်း usually ကြတော့ တစ်ခါတလေ or very often. Okay, so you can ask it like this. So for example, if it's always, you can say, does Chris always work on Sundays? Chris က Sunday တိုင်းမှာအလုပ်လုပ်လား? Does Chris always work on Sundays? And then another one is, what do you usually do at weekends? Okay, what do you usually do at weekends. So always and usually has to come before the infinitive. Okay, so you need to remember the sort of the order. So if you can remember the order and sort of memorize the order of the words, then you will get this activity really, really easily. So how you can remember the order is by saying these sentences, reading these sentences over and over again. So once you say these sentences out to yourself, the more you say it, the more you can remember. All right, so let's take a look at this example. So we have, what do you do? So what do you do? When you say what do you do, balole, what we mean in English is asking you what you do for a living, what is your job. Okay, so what do you do? I work in a bank. Okay, so when someone asks you, what do you do? You just tell them, I'm a student, I'm a teacher, things like that, things that you do, not sort of what you just did. Like, for example, if you were sitting or if you were eating and someone asks you, what do you do? You don't tell them, I'm eating, because they're asking you for your job. All right, so let's look at C. So this is just something that you should remember. So I, we, you, and they, you use do. He, she, and it, you use does. So example 1, do they like music? And for he, she, and it, we have, does he like music? Okay, this is just for you to remember when to use do and when to use does. Same thing, the more you say it, the more you use these words, the more you can remember. All right, so next, how do you use simple present simple tense to answer short answers? So very simple, yes or no. So we have yes, I do. Yes, he does. It's just yes or no, and then I do, he does. And then if it's no, then we say no, I don't. No, he doesn't. Remember, don't is do not. Okay, so you can also say no, I do not. No, he does not. But when you're talking, you use don't and doesn't. Alright, so let's look at some examples over here. So we have, do you play the guitar? No, I don't. Do your parents speak English? Yes, they do. Does James work hard? Yes, he does. Does your sister live in London? No, she doesn't. Okay, so this is how you use do and does to ask questions as well as reply with short answers. Now, let's go on to Unit 8. So, when you first look at this unit, it might look a little confusing. And this is because, you might see this and think there's so many words and you might get a bit confused or lost. But just remember that Unit 8 is just something you've learned before, which is present continuous. You've learned this before. And present simple. You just learned it. So it's just two things that you've learned before. You put them together and you get Unit 8. Alright, so let's remember what present continuous is. Just remember that it is something that has ing, something that you're doing right now. And then present simple, that is something that always happens or happens very often. Okay, so let's look at example A. We have, Jack is watching television. He is not playing the guitar. Remember, because there's ing. This is, what is it? This is present continuous. Right? But Jack has a guitar. He often plays it and he plays very well. So remember, has, plays, these are infinitives, which means this sentence or these sentences are present simple. Right? So this chapter is just very simple. It's just present continuous plus present simple. All right? So how do you put these two things into a sentence? Let's see. Over here. Jack plays the guitar, but he is not playing the guitar right now. So the first sentence is present simple, comma. The second part of the sentence is present continuous. So he plays the guitar. သူကဂီတာတီးတတ်တယ် or ဂီတာတီးတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့ he is not playing the guitar right now အခုအချိန်မှာဂီတာမတီးနေဘူး Okay, so Jack plays the guitar but he is not playing the guitar right now. So let's remember the questions as well. So is he playing the guitar? No, he isn't. This is present continuous. Does he play the guitar? Yes, he does. This is present simple. Remember, because continuous is ing, simple is just infinitive. All right. So present continuous is now at the time of speaking. အခုပြောနေတဲ့အချိန်မှာဖြစ်နေတဲ့ဟာ Then you use present continuous. So let's read the examples. Please be quiet. I'm working. Okay? So you don't say please be quiet. I work. I work means nga alolo de. Right? But it doesn't mean that you need to be quiet right now. So you need to tell them I'm working so that people understand that you are working right now and that you need them to be quiet right now. Next, Tom is having a shower at the moment. All right, because we use the word is, we're going to use ing. Okay, currently happening. Tom is having a shower at the moment. Take an umbrella with you. It's raining. So it is raining, so you take an umbrella. You can turn off the television. I'm not watching it. Next. Why are you under the table? What are you doing? Okay, so these are all present continuous. Remember, because of all the ings, which means it's happening right now. So C, we talk about present simple. So things that happen in general, all the time, or sometimes. So if you look at this arrow, you might understand it a bit better. So over here, present continuous is only for right now, right? It's only pointing to now. But when you talk about present simple, it can be something that happens from the past all the way to the future. So there's no time limit. All right? So over here, I work every day from 9 o'clock to 5:30. Tom has a shower every morning. See? So this example over here, he says, Tom is having a shower at the moment. So at the moment means right now. Aku uchema. He's having a shower. But if you are talking about what Tom does, then you can say Tom has a shower every morning. All right? So next. It rains a lot in winter. I don't watch TV very often. What do you usually do at weekends? Okay, this is something that we just learned, the questions. All right, so these are the two examples. These are sort of, you've already learned them, okay? So, for example, if I were to put these two sentences together, let's just use Tom as an example. So, you can say Tom has a shower every morning and he is having a shower at the moment. Okay, so you tell them that he has shower မနက်တိုင်းမှာရေချိုးတယ်ပြီးတော့အခုအချိန်ကသူရေချိုးနေတယ် Okay, something like that. So you just join the two sentences together and you get this chapter basically. So then part D. Now this one, you can just learn this, but something important that you need to remember is that language, especially English language, is always changing. So, you know, sometimes the books from many years ago might tell you that this is not correct, that you cannot use this. But then, because language is always changing, somehow more and more people will start using it the wrong way. But because a lot of people use it, it becomes the new right way to use it. So I hope that my mom is able to give you a better explanation of what I'm trying to say. But let's just see these examples and I'm going to tell you what I mean. Alright, so it says we do not use these verbs in present continuous. So that means all these words over here that they've given you, they say that you cannot use it with ing. So you can just remember that. So things like, you can say liking, want, wanting, know, knowing, understand, understanding, remember, remembering. So you can't use it like that. That's what they're trying to say. So let's look at an example. Use only present simple with these verbs. So these things in the bracket, you can only use present simple. So I want or do you like? Okay, so let's look at the first example. I'm tired. I want to go home. You don't say I'm wanting to go home, right? Next example, we say, do you know that girl? Yes, but I don't remember her name. Okay, so you use it like this. You don't say, but I don't remembering her name. Even though right now you cannot remember, you don't say, I don't remembering. Okay, next, I don't understand. What do you mean? You don't say, I don't understanding. Even though it is, you're talking about right now, အခုဖြစ်နေတာနားမလဲဘူးအခုအချိန်မှာနားမလဲဘူးဒါပေမဲ့ you don't use I don't understanding. Okay, but it doesn't mean that these words can never be paired with ing. Okay, sometimes you do pair these words with ing. For example, the word forget. Sometimes we use a sentence or we say something like this. Are you forgetting something? Okay, this is not wrong. It is not wrong for you to say this. This is a figure of speech, sort of like people talk. And when people talk, they say it like this. Are you forgetting something? So even though forget, they say that you cannot use with ing. In certain situations, especially right now, you can. So don't be super shocked or super alarmed if someone talks to you and they use ing with these words. Because like I said, English is always changing. There's always new right and wrong ways to say English words, okay? But generally for your exercise, just try to remember this and don't use these words with ing. Alright, so this is all for the grammar part. And then let's just take a look at some telephone call dialogues. So over here we have, hi Alice, it's John. How are you? Oh, hi John. Oh, hi John. I was just thinking about you. That's nice. I was wondering if you'd like to go to a movie tonight. Sure, I love to. What's playing? I was thinking about the new comedy Lights Out. What do you think? Sounds great. Okay, I'll pick you up around 7:30. The movie starts at 8. See you then. Bye. So this is a conversation. Let's look at the example. Alright, let me zoom you in so you can see better. So this is a telephone call. So telephone call means you are already friends with that person. You maybe know that person a little well, not total strangers. So he says, "Hi Alice, it's John," right? So by saying it is, okay? It means what he wants to say in this situation. When you say it's John, it's Susan, it's Mary, they mean to say I am. So I am John. So you don't say on the phone, "Hi Alice, I am John." Alright, you become a bit more casual. You'll say it's John. So, "Oh, hi John." Alright, so this exclamation mark is just to show that she is excited or very happy that he called her. Alright, next John says, "I was wondering if you like to." So this is a polite and indirect way of asking, "Do you want to?" So you can say, "Do you want to go for a movie?" But if you say, "I was wondering if you like to," what you're asking is less direct. It's more polite. Okay, that's why he says, "I was wondering if you like to." Okay. And then she says, "Sure, I love to," which also means, "Yes, I would love to." Okay. And next, "I was thinking about," or you can say, "What do you think?" So John is always asking in a very polite way, something that is not too bold, because coming or asking someone a question that is very, very bold is considered rude in English. So that's why he's asking in a more polite way, more suggestive way. Alright? And next we have "sounds great." Alright? So "sounds great" is an informal way of saying that's a good plan, or you like the idea, you agree with something, you will say "sounds great." And then he says, "I'll pick you up." So "I'll pick you up" is a way of saying I will come to your house so that we can go together. So let's say you are going out with your friends, and before you go out, you're going to go to one of your friends' house to bring your friend, and then you're going to go together. Then you can say, "I'll pick you up at your house." Or maybe you're meeting them at school and then you're going somewhere else together. You can say, "I'll pick you up at school and then we can go together." So "I'll pick you up" means I'll meet you and then we go together. Okay? So this is just for you to be familiar with. But yeah, this is what we learned for our conversation this week. So it is quite a bit of stuff. I just hope that you can remember a little bit of it, and then just keep on practicing, and I'll see you next week.